fam. I'm Dr. Alex Spano, and today I'm going to talk about programming needs for when you return to squatting after hip impingement. So oftentimes I'll have people come in and they'll have a flare-up of hip impingement or something a little bit more chronic. Either way, a lot of times what I'll do is, in order to correct things, we'll remove them from squatting patterns for a little bit in the gym. That might entail taking the barbell off their back, maybe adding in more hinging movements, etc., etc. While we work on some of that mobility needs, some of the strength balance needs with step-ups and RDLs, some of the mechanical needs, that might be teaching people to brace better, it might be teaching people to squat in a pattern that's more suited for their body, all right? So once we're in that phase where we're finally getting back to squatting, there's some key things to remember. Number one, if you have taken time off from squatting, getting back to it. You can't just jump back into where you were. Some of that tendinous and ligamentous strength has probably calmed down a little bit and is no longer as sturdy as it was. So we need to spend time building back up to that. That might take a month, that might take 2 months, depending on your squatting level and what you're trying to achieve. So just understand, because we took a step back, we're gonna take a lot of steps forward, but that just might take time. Right? We want to get rid of this for the long term. So that might mean taking up your volume only 5 to 10% a week, and that might be even on a more aggressive approach. If we've been doing this for a while, it might be 1 to 2% a week. Practically, what does that look like? We're going to look at probably starting at the higher rep range, probably with lighter weights, and moving up from there. And we'll probably build with volume over the course of the first few weeks. This allows us to really get that motor pattern down, make sure we're doing things in a proper manner without having this enormous amount of weight where we start doing funky things on it. Then as we move through the process of those couple months, we're gonna get to the point where we're squatting heavy again, right? And that's typically less volume, but by that point we've gotten in the repetitions of those correct movement patterns with now we're more improved single leg strength and our mobility. So now we got all this fun practice where it's perfect practice, right? Practice makes permanent. So now we have perfect practice making even perfect permanent, all right? So long story short, when we're returning to squatting, we can't view this as, hey, I was squatting 5 times a week before an Olympic lifting program and doing 20 cents a week, right? That's not something that's uncommon. However, if you were doing that before and we had to back off slightly, we got to build back to that in a systematic manner over the course of a couple months. You're squatting, but it just may be a little different than the way you were before. And with the goal of, hey, we want to clear this up so that long term, you're squatting better, you're squatting more weight, you're squatting for more volume without having this pitching sensation. The pitching sensation, not only annoying, but it's going to affect your performance as well. All right, so long story short, be patient. This stuff takes time, the programming takes time, but if you stick with it and you build up, like any good fitness program, a rehab program is gonna build you up to something and then build you past that point. That way you're stronger and it doesn't come back. All right, guys.